Hi, Santa Barbara and Montecito. My name is Daniel Zia. I'm the founder, CEO, and broker associate for the Zia Group here with eXp Realty in Santa Barbara and Montecito. And I'm here to deliver the 2021 year-end real estate market report. It was such an incredible year for residential real estate here in the Santa Barbara area. It had record-breaking sales activity, and I look forward to walking you through step-by-step what's actually in the market statistics. So here I am on my website. I'm going to go ahead and walk you through step-by-step. Let's start with what happened with just the number of sales. So we had a record-breaking number of sales in 2021. We had a 5% increase over last year, which was the previous greatest real estate market of all time here in the Santa Barbara area, with 2,216 total sales. So that's actually the most sales in recorded history in the history of Santa Barbara real estate. We had an increase in single-family home sales and a decrease in the number of condos that were sold. So while the number of condos that were sold were about 8% decrease, overall the market as a whole, when you combine them with single-family home, actually increased by 5%. Now, this is kind of interesting. If you look here, this is actually a 30-year pricing graph of Santa Barbara. So this shows both the median home price growth and the average home price growth. The darker red is the average. The lighter red is the median sales price. If you're wondering what prices have done and if real estate's a good investment, over the last 30 years, the average sales price has increased by 7 times, and the median sales price is 5 times as high as it was ago 30 years. So to put that in reference, the average sales price of a home 30 years ago was $336,000. Today, that exact same home would be worth a little over $2.4 million when looking at the average sales price. If you come down here, this is actually the number of yearly sales by year, so you can actually see what has happened with the number of sales year over year. You can see here, this is that peak of 2,216 sales. You do see some ebbs and flows here, but to put that in context, compared to just a handful of years ago when there was about 1,700 sales, there's a significant growth in the number of yearly sales. As far as the average sales by month, there are some real estate markets across the country that see massive fluctuations based on seasonality in their real estate market and seasonality just in the calendar year, meaning in some areas where you've got inclement weather, November, December, January, when it's blanketed in snow, often sees a massive dip in the number of home sales. In our areas, since we have an average temperature of 72 degrees year around, we don't see the same ebbs and flows, but we do see generally a peaking in the summer and a trough in the winter for the number of sales. Interesting enough, in 2021, I'll go ahead and remove these years. You can kind of see what happened. February this year was actually a really low sales month, and then in March it absolutely spiked up. March was actually the best month of the year for the number of home sales. It actually decreased going into the summer, which is pretty wild. Generally speaking, we would see an increasing graph going into the summer. It bounced back up a little bit in August and then started dropping down. Where we're at now is last month in December, we had one of the smallest sales months we've had in years and years and years, and I'll talk about that a little bit later, but the biggest factor of that isn't a lack of demand, it's actually a lack of supply. Now, when we look at the home sales by area, this is really interesting. You actually have an increase in the number of home sales in virtually every area of South Santa Barbara County, with the exception of Summerlin. So Summerlin had 43 sales in 2020. In 2021, that dropped to 19. So less than half the sales compared to last year. Now, every other part of South Santa Barbara County saw a significant increase. with the two greatest increases being Hope Ranch saw, I believe, a 44% increase in the number of sales, and Carpinteria also saw a significant number. Montecito, Santa Barbara, they were a little bit more comparable, 941 sales in 2020 versus 957 in 2021, and again, Montecito was 383 sales versus 374. Very lateral comparable and very equal sales years, not when you look at the total volume of sales, but when you look at the number of sales. Here we go. This is the average home price by area. You can see here in Montecito, the median sales price of a home in Montecito for 2021 was $4.6 million, and the average sales price was over $6.2 million in Montecito. Very, very similar in Hope Ranch. If you want to see the specifically the luxury real estate market, if you want to tune into that, I've got another video you can look on the website that'll go specifically over the Santa Barbara luxury market, mostly focusing on the markets of Montecito and Hope Ranch. Now, interesting, when you look at Goleta right now, the average price of a home in Goleta is a little under 1.6 million, and the median sales price is 1.3 million. With a lot of Goleta homes built in the early 60s, that 1,500 square foot Goleta tract home, most of those are selling around $1.3 million, which is just wild to think about what they sold just a handful of years ago. And when you look at Santa Barbara proper, you got an average sales price combined between single-family homes and condos right around $2 million and a median sales price of 1.7. Now, a couple other things when it comes to what the real estate market has done. The average sales price and the median sales price, that's always what people want to know. How much did my home appreciate? Both the average and the median sales price actually increased by 24% in the last year. That is huge double-digit appreciation numbers. Not quite as significant as the year before, which was a record-breaking year as far as the amount the values jumped up, but still really, really significant. If you're looking specifically at a single-family home, I know I just mentioned here when you combined it with condos, the average sales price was $2 million. But if you're actually looking for a single-family home in the Santa Barbara area, that price tag on average would be $3 million from a median sales price standpoint. Now, while homes values went up 24%, that actually exceeded sellers' expectations last year. Sellers increased their listing price by about 18%, and so that was actually less than what the market actually appreciated of 24%. A few other quick facts. If you're wondering how many cash sales there were in 2021, 33% of all home sales in the Santa Barbara area were cash and not financed with any loan. Perhaps after the close of escrow, but when they recorded, they were cash. So that's 1 of every 3 transactions was a cash purchase. That is a tremendous amount of cash in our area. That's always been true. We've always seen a significant number of cash transactions, but that is one of the highest numbers we've seen over the course of a year in the Santa Barbara area. If you're wondering if it's better to buy either a condo or a single-family home, well, that's been fairly comparable throughout the years as far as appreciation and depreciation. Since COVID started a couple of years ago, we've started to see that separate significantly. Condos went up on average 16% on the average sales price and 11% on the median home price versus single-family homes that went up 26% on the average sales price and 24% in the median sales price. So the long and the short of it is, would you rather own a house versus a condo? Well, if you're looking specifically for price growth and appreciation of your net worth, in the last couple of years, you've done about twice as good if you have owned a single-family home over a condo. Now, to sum up, there are 4 final questions that are on most people's minds or big talking points. The first would be inflation. You know, that's a serious conversation right now. Buying real estate can be a great hedge for inflation, so that's on a lot of people's minds. Second is what's happening with people's portfolios right now. Real estate is obviously up significantly But in the last couple months, we've seen a drop in people's stock portfolio. Stock prices have been going down. Crypto prices have been going down. So what does this mean in our real estate market? One, buying power might be a little bit lower. People feel like their net worth is a little less right now compared to a couple months ago. So that might have an effect on what they're willing to pay for prices. Now, I think that that's actually offset by the fact of when some of these other asset classes aren't doing well, that also creates a migration or a refocus back to real estate as that hedge for inflation, and because it's showing such strong appreciation returns, and you can get income from it if it's a rental property. So I would expect that that's going to be more than compensated any lack of buying power with just a greater desire for real estate in this year. The third big talking point right now is our inventory levels and specifically the absorption rate. I'm going to pull up a map here. So the absorption rate essentially is how many months of inventory are there, meaning if not a single additional condo or house came on the market to sell, how many weeks or months would it take for all of the remaining inventory to be sold? This is the key indicator for the relative strength of the market. Now, you can see here we've looked at the last 20-something years of the absorption rate. You know, right now we are kind of right here at the end, and with an absorption rate in 2021, an average absorption rate of 1.2 months of inventory. Compare that when the market was really dropping in 2008 and 9 and 10 at 8 to 10 months of inventory. So a lot of what we're asking, and as of as of January of 2022, we are actually at an all-time historical low of 1/2 month of inventory, which is just absolutely incredible. So the question is, you know, what's the market going to do this year? Well, we still have incredibly high buyer demand, and the biggest issue right now is we have a lack of homes to sell. So we've got buyers waiting on the sidelines. They're feeling the pressure of the fourth issue on people's minds, rising interest rates. They want to buy now, and they want to take advantage of where the market's at, but they don't have homes to sell. So if you're a home seller and you're looking to cash out on arguably the most premium time in modern day history of real estate to sell your home, this is that moment of time. We don't know. We don't have certainty what the market's going to do this year, but we do know that this moment right now, given those inventory levels are historically low, your home's going to get absolute premium attention because buyers just don't have much selection. So interest rates are predicted to rise multiple times this year, and that's going to create, again, a little bit, that's going to put downward pressure on buying power, specifically for home buyers that are looking to buy their first home, and that's a significant portion of their, that has a significant impact on their monthly payment. And doesn't quite have as great of effect on the luxury side of the market because those buyers aren't as constrained by interest rates. They take advantage of interest rates generally from a tax perspective and a financial strategy, but it tends not to move the needle significantly whether or not they're going to buy a $4 or $5 million property. So, in the sum, I would expect that 2021 is going to continue to be a strong year. I would predict less price appreciation compared to the last 2 years, but I believe, at least in the near term of the next few months, 3 to 6 months, we should still see some upward trending in prices, and then we'll just have to see what happens with some of these larger economic factors. So I hope you found value in that. Again, tune into the Santa Barbara and luxury real estate market video on the same page if you want to dig in deeper, specifically in the luxury real estate market. Thank you so much for your trust. If we can do anything to help, we'd be happy to schedule a private, in-depth consultation to give you some neutral counsel. Go ahead and reach out to your preferred Z Group Realtor partner, and we can set that up for you. Have a great day.